It's Tuesday, March 10th, 2026, 7:30. I'd like to call this meeting to order, and if I could get everybody to stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. Do we have the roll call?
Kiefhofer,
Here.
DeHaven,
Here.
Spruill,
Here.
Dobry,
Here.
Randall,
Here.
Lewis,
Here.
Medina.
I don't think she's going to join this meeting virtually, so
Okay.
Mayor Medina will not be with us tonight. Let's see, approval of the agenda. Do I have a motion?
I move that we approve the agenda as presented.
Second.
Lewis,
Yes.
Dobry,
Yes.
Kiefhofer,
Yes.
Randall,
Yes.
DeHaven,
Yes.
Spruill.
Yes. Item number 2 is the consent agenda. The listing under consent agenda is a group of items to be acted with a single motion and vote. This agenda is designed to expedite the handling of limited routine matters by City Council. Either the public or council member may request that an item be removed from the consent agenda at the time prior to the council's vote. The mayor will ask if a citizen or council member wishes to have any specific item removed from the consent agenda for discussion. A, approval of the minute meetings for February 24th, 2026. B, approval of the expenditure list for March 10th, 2026. C, approval of renewal retail liquor license for Elevated Liquors, LLC, DBA Elevated Liquors, located at 530 North Broadway in Cortez. D, approval of a renewal application for a retail marijuana store license and retail marijuana cultivation facility license for Chronic Therapy, Cortez, located at 1020 South Broadway.
I move the council approve the consent agenda.
Second.
Randall,
Yes.
Lewis,
Yes.
DeHaven, Kiefhofer,
Yes.
Dobry,
Yes.
Spruill.
Yes. Item number 3 is public participation. Individuals may not comment items that are on this council agenda during the public participation time. There is no limit to the number of speakers, although public comments will be held to an overall time limit of 30 minutes. Speakers have a time limit of 3 minutes per person, may only speak once, and may not cede time to another commenter. I'd like to invite Mr. McGinley up to the podium.
I'm not giving it to Mayor Medina.
No, but it'll work.
James McGinley here. The following is in your packet and at the Facebook group People for a Thriving, Prosperous Cortez. My dozen earlier attempts to gain your respectful cooperation make it clear that I don't like to be harsh, but by contemptuously ignoring those, you've left me the choice between abandoning my desperate concerns for our community or being much, much more direct with you. All of the following is to empower the next council to instantly get on with solving the hellish financial situation you are leaving us in. The following 6 questions are on behalf of 96% of the citizens I have randomly met in Cortez, going door to door, fighting to get a future for this city front and center on the council agenda forevermore. We demand immediate, thorough reply, no more contemptuous silence and wasted time. Number 1, if you have a high confidence, approximately 3-year plan to replace our rapidly declining revenues with other than skyrocketing taxes, tell us what it is in detail now. Number 2, if it is by statute or law that you treat we citizens with unending contempt, Tell us that statute or law. Otherwise, we assume the next council could choose to treat us like valued people, like the manager at Walmart does. Number 3, by statute or law, is the city council truly the bosses of the city, as we've been told by you and the city manager? Number 4, or if, as your behavior would suggest, the city councilors are merely political distraction, shield for the true king, the city manager, is that by law or statute? Or could the next council choose to be in truth the proactive, accountable leaders, servants of the city? Number 5, is there law or statute that prevents the next council using sunshine law compliant means to meet not 6 hours a month, but 40 hours a week? A Girl Scout can't run her cookie business on 6 hours a month. Number 6, if the city manager is the true king, then is there law or statute that would prevent the incoming city council from becoming an aggressive, respectful, responsive citizen conduit to the king, holding the king accountable to the citizens? All my time in the city, I thought it was just me and the unhoused that were treated like cattle with contempt. Now, to my shock and horror, I find it's 95% of us, everyone not in the politically elite club. This must change. It is the council's sacred privilege to serve all in our community, especially those not in the politically elite club, for the exquisite joy of it. I trust that the next council is listening. If that's not what you on the ballot will do, don't take the job. 9,000 lives in iceberg-infested water will be in your city, will be in your hands. If I'm wrong, explain it to my face. Otherwise,
Thank you. And there is time at the end of the meeting as well. We'll open up for public. Does anybody else have anything from the audience who would like to come and speak? Okay, we'll move on to 4, presentations. We have none. Public hearings, 5A, ordinance number 1357, Series 2026. Council will consider on second reading ordinance number 1357, Series 2026, and ordinance amending ordinance number 1354, Series 2026. Our presenter is Jason Armstrong, the Community and Economic Development Director, City Planner.
Good evening, Council. Yes, tonight we bring before you a second reading of ordinance number 1357, Series 2026. On January 27th, 2026, the City Council adopted ordinance 1354, Series 2026, approving buildings located at 245 East Montezuma Avenue for historic designation, and including the property in the City Register of Historic Resources. The legal description of that on that ordinance for that property was not correct, so we had to make that correction, and it resulted in the ordinance that's brought before you. I don't really have much more to add. Our recommendation is that council approve on second reading ordinance number 1357, Series 2026, and ordinance amending ordinance number 1354, Series 2026.
Council have any questions? Anybody from the audience have any questions?
I move that council approve on...
Sorry, could we just clearly open it as a public hearing first?
Oh, it is a public hearing, so is there anybody in the audience? Seeing none.
I move that council approve on second reading ordinance number 1357, Series 2026, and ordinance amending ordinance number 1354, Series 2026.
Second.
Randall,
Yes.
Dobry,
Yes.
DeHaven,
Yes.
Lewis,
Yes.
Kiefhoffer,
Yes.
Sproul.
Yes. (5B), ordinance number 1358, Series 2026. Council will consider on second reading ordinance number 1358, Series 2026, and ordinance amending ordinance number 1355, Series 2026, again presented by Jason Armstrong, Interim Committee and Economic Development Director, City Planner.
Okay, similar situation, we are bringing second reading of ordinance number 1358, Series 2026 on January 27th, 2026. City Council adopted ordinance number 1355, Series 2026, approving the buildings located at 410 East Empire Street for historic designation and including the property on the City Register of Historic Resources. The legal description in that ordinance was not correct. That's prompting us to make the correction in the current ordinance 1358. Nothing more to add on my end, so staff recommends that council approve on second reading ordinance number 1358, Series 2026, amending ordinance number 1355, Series 2026.
I'm sure we have something in place so we don't have a couple of mistakes in a row.
Absolutely.
Thank you. This is the second reading. Do we have any comments from the public? Anybody want to address the issue?
Doesn't need to
Got it.
It is a public comment period. If seeing none,
I move that council approve on second reading ordinance number 1358, Series 2026, and ordinance amending ordinance number 1355, Series 2026.
Second.
Dobry,
Yes.
Randall,
Yes.
Lewis,
Yes.
Kiefhoffer. Yes. DeHaven.
Yes.
Sproul.
yes. Item number 5C is ordinance number 1360, Series 2026. Council will consider on second reading ordinance number 1360, Series 2026, and ordinance amending the 2026 adopted budget. Presenter is Randy Bailey, our Finance Director.
Good evening, Council. Ordinance 1360, as you said, is an amendment to the 2026 budget. On the slide that I have up here, there's about 8 items that are requested as amendments to the 2026 budget. The vast majority of those items are funded by awarded grant dollars, followed by unused appropriations from 2025 in the Streets Fund and the Water Funds. There's also a couple of items that are essentially revenue surplus. So revenue exceeding expectations or forecasts during the budget process, some in 2025 and a golf revision in 2026. There is one item that will dip into general fund reserves of about $46,000, and that is to fund an oversight of a thought vacancy during budget, which is actually filled by an employee. So you need to make sure that that's whole. So that's the totality of the 8 items that we're seeking as amendments to the 2026 budget, and staff at this time requests that we approve it upon second reading.
Anybody from council have any?
No, I don't have any questions. I just wanted to say again, thank you for the clear breakdown of all the funds and that it is additional funds except for that $46,000 from the reserves. With that, if no one else has any other questions.
It is a second reading, so you have to open
thank you.
public comment portion of the public hearing.
Okay, does anybody have any comment? This is a second reading from the public. Seeing none.
I move that City Council approve on second reading ordinance number 1360.
Second.
Lewis,
Yes.
DeHaven. Randall,
Yes.
Kiefhoffer.
Yes.
Dobry.
Yes.
Sproul.
Yes. Item number 6 is unfinished business. We have none. Item number 7 is new business. 7A, ordinance number 1361, Series 2026. Council will consider on first reading ordinance number 1361, Series 2026, and ordinance adopting the 2025 Colorado Wildfire Resiliency Code. Presenter is Jason Armstrong, Interim Director of Community and Economic Development, and our city planner.
Okay, there it is. Evening again, Council. Yes, I'm bringing you before you first reading of ordinance 1361, Series 2026, and this is in regards to the adoption of the Wildfire Resiliency Code. So I'm going to provide background information about the legislation, what the code is, where does it apply, what does it mean potentially for residents, and some information on community engagement that we've done so far. So during the 2023 legislative session, Colorado's General Assembly adopted Senate Bill 23-166. The bill established the Wildfire Resiliency Code Board and required the Wildfire Resiliency Code Board to adopt model codes requiring governing bodies with jurisdiction in an area within the wildland-urban interface to adopt codes that meet or exceed the standards set forth in the model codes. In 2025, Colorado Wildfire Resiliency Code, version 1.0, became effective June 1st, 2025, and is a new comprehensive set of regulations designed to enhance life safety and property protection in Colorado's wildland urban interface, also known as the WUI area. Its core purpose is to mitigate the risks associated with wildland fires, specifically by preventing fire from spreading into structures and preventing structure fires from spreading into wildland fuels. The code is designed with a tiered approach, meaning the requirements will vary based on the level of wildfire hazard present in the specific area, and it supplements existing building and fire codes. Once the WUI code is adopted by the city, the local code official, in this case, the City of Cortez Chief Building Official, is responsible for interpreting and enforcing the codes as part of the building permit review and inspection process. So what is the Wildfire Resiliency Code? It is a document detailing regulation for construction and property maintenance in wildland urban interface areas, aiming to safeguard life and property from wildfires. It introduces two classes of structure hardening, Class 1 and Class 2, based on fire intensity classifications, which is low, moderate, or high, outlining specific requirements for building materials, defensible space, and site features. The code also establishes an administrative framework for enforcement, permits, inspections, and appeals process for governing bodies. So where does it apply? One of the first things that we did when we engaged with the state on the rollout of this code is we had our own GIS department overlay the state map on top of the city's map. This is just a better representation of which properties specifically are impacted. We're currently waiting on the state to be able to provide the proper file so that we can actually put this on our planning map, and it'll be much clearer for everybody to look at moving forward. So overall, the code board adopted a map for the entire state, and it defines fire intensity areas based on factors including vegetative fuels, topography, weather patterns, and fire behavior modeling. These areas are classified into low, moderate, and high fire intensity, which dictate the applicable code requirements. So as you can see on the map, in Cortez, the yellow, which is primarily the south end of town, those are low, and everything in orange, which is north and kind of surrounding the city, those are the moderate areas. So what does all this mean for the residents? Once adopted by Cortez, the WUI regulations will apply to the construction and alteration of structures with occupiable and habitable space and defensible space within designated fire hazard zones. A little bit about the community engagement so far. So staff from the building department held a community engagement session on February 26th in council chambers. While we invited everybody in the community, we've made special attempts to notify developers, contractors, material suppliers, and trade group representatives of what's going on. During the meeting, we informed those in attendance that staff will hold future engagement sessions specifically to address new enforcement and permitting policy after the code is adopted. Staff plans to hold future public education sessions post-enforcement in anticipation that questions will continue to rise to the surface. Staff are also creating a resource page on the city's website that will provide updates and technical assistance documents. So the legislation mandates that we adopt this code by April 1st, and then they mandate that we begin enforcement July 1st. So we have a little bit of time between adoption and enforcement, and we are working with state officials, local governments, fire districts around the state, and we're all kind of coming up with best practices for permitting and enforcement. So we'll be updating council on that as we move along. With that, our chief building official, Mr. Canada, is here tonight if you guys have detailed questions about the code, but happy to answer any questions you may have.
Jason, I've a question. Sure, I know the answer, but do we have any idea the fiscal impact this might have?
If you're speaking in terms of the city itself, it's unknown at this time. What I can say is, if you look at the map, you can see that the areas that need fire enforcement are all around the outside of the city. We average around 24 building permits a year, and we're not sure how many of those building permits are going to be in those areas. You also notice that this doesn't apply to infill projects, and we get a lot of those too. We will be tracking that to kind of determine the number of hours spent. So we'll have an analysis of that and understand what it means. It could include more staffing. We just don't know at this time.
And then this April 1st date, what's the penalty if we don't comply with that?
The state has not made that clear. It's been asked, and they don't really have an answer for that at this time.
Thank you.
Did Senate Bill 23-166 provide any funding for municipalities to manage this?
No, sir.
I would like to just highlight the state's unfunded mandate statute, which is 29-1-304.5. No new state mandate or an increase in the level of service for an existing state mandate beyond the existing level of service required by law shall be mandated by the General Assembly or any state agency or any local government unless the state provides additional monies to reimburse such local government for the cost of such new state mandate or such increased level of service. It goes on beyond that, but basically unfunded mandates are optional. So I guess in any ordinance, I would like to include that we do believe that this is an unfunded mandate, that we will be tracking our costs and seeking reimbursement from the state, and that if we do not receive reimbursement, we may evaluate and reevaluate whether we keep doing this.
So noted.
And as a reminder, this is first reading, so any amendments that you're talking about, we can add to the ordinance on second reading.
Jason, are you aware of any changes in the insurance coverage and cost of insurance coverage for homeowners that are in both these moderate and low-intensity zones? Do you
Well, we haven't implemented them yet, and I think that this is happening around the state at this time, so I think there's more information to come around what those implications are for insurance, but from what I've read, the way the insurance industry is looking at this is it could, if homeowners are in compliance with this and they actually are at high risk right now, this could reduce their insurance premiums annually. And I think that's kind of the idea that the state had behind it, was to see if there was anything that they could do to help property owners across the state maintain insurance, because there's a lot of people that are getting dropped in other areas of the state because of the danger, because of the risks. So, yeah.
See if I got this right. By doing this, it's going to possibly lower the cost of insurance when we say that they're in a high risk area?
It's the going theory.
What a theory. Anybody else?
So Is this not just going to affect new construction, correct? This isn't going to affect existing construction, so the properties that already have buildings on them are not going to be affected, other than that they're now going to be classified in a moderate intensity or low intensity zone, whereas before there was no classification on them.
Yes, that is correct. This code will not be retroactively applied to, any properties currently. What I will say is that there are a few triggers in the code for when an existing structure would have to come into compliance. They are increases of the footprint of over 500 square feet, 25% or more of an exterior structure being affected. A good example of that would be if somebody needed to re-side their house, they'd have to come into compliance with current materials. And then there's roofing replacement of 25% or more where they'd have to come into compliance.
Is there any guidance on how that interacts with historic preservation and historic preservation code from the state?
Yeah, variances may be issued for historic structures to preserve their character if they meet specific historic designations, and that's straight from the code. So we'll have to wade through that when it comes up. Yeah.
And will this be enforced by our regular?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, I mean, I'm happy to move this forward. I would like to have those additions into the ordinance. I think it's important that we clarify to the state when they are not doing what they should be doing. If they, I mean, this bill makes sense. I think having fire regulations to provide safety and insurability for our state makes sense. But it's the state's duty to provide funding to do that, and not rather than passing it on illegally to municipalities. So I guess with that and with those suggested changes, I move that City Council approve on first reading ordinance number 1361, Series 2026, an ordinance adopting the Colorado Wildfire Resiliency Code and amending the Cortez City Code as set forth in the ordinance, and set a public hearing and second reading of the ordinance for March 24th, 2026.
Second.
DeHaven,
Yes.
Dobry,
Yes.
Kiefhoffer,
Yes.
Randall,
Yes.
Lewis,
Yes.
Medina. I'm sorry. Sproul.
Yes. Move on to item 7B, award of the 2026 Golf Cart Path Project. Award the 2026 Golf Cart Path Project to JRG Concrete and Construction, LLC for $41,856. Our presenter is Creighton Wright, Director of Parks and Recreation.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, Pro Tem, council members. Just as we get started, we have two golf course items on the agenda here consecutively. I'll be presenting on both of them. Just a quick note that the golf course opened this last weekend, and to my great surprise, and maybe it shouldn't be, we had really strong weekend of golf play. We hit 100 rounds on Sunday, which is what we generally hit in the summer. So the fact that it's our first weekend and already a strong season, and even yesterday, a Monday, hit 60 rounds. So 80 on Saturday, 100 on Sunday, 60 on Monday. So that's really good for the golf course. To get started on the item, award the 2026 Golf Cart Path Project. Our cart paths at the Conquistador Golf Course are a main priority, and it is something that we've been working towards for the last several years. They enhance safety and the experience at the course. This is especially true for private cart owners whose carts, because of the gravel and or mud, become dirty and get additional wear and tear. And admittedly, our own carts get that same challenges. This is the second year of implementing cart path construction. The first year we threw the project in along with the concrete cost share program. And for really two reasons, we're going to try a different methodology this year and breaking it off separately. The two reasons that we're trying this differently The first one is that the concrete cost share project, that work is different. It's a bit more simple and straightforward. I mean, it's effectively taking out and replacing sidewalks throughout the city, and so that's the first reason. Second reason is that the cart path project tend to be wider, longer, and can have some difficult access issues getting into various different places in the cart path, and that requires some a lot of coordination amongst the contractor. So with that, the scope of the cart path project this year included excavation and replacing with road base, reinforcing that concrete. This is especially important in this particular section of the golf course because we're going to be running heavier trucks over it, so it had to be reinforced, unlike normal sidewalk, which is unreinforced. So that's going to require 4,500 PSI concrete as well as rebar embedded within it. And in total, the cart path project this year is 8 feet wide, 300 feet long, and a depth of 6 inches. So in the middle part of January, we reached out to all concrete contractors and conducted site walks and showed them the location and what they would expect as it relates to a project. We had 3 bids that were submitted by contractors that included itemized bid sheets that got into quite a bit of detail. Each one of those also gave us a proposed timeline and schedule. Attached to the staff report is the scoring matrix that staff used upon receipt of the different proposals. Again, we received 3 bids. The first one was from Stone Age Concrete and Construction, LLC for $38,625. Second one was from JRG Concrete Construction, LLC for $41,856. And the final bid was from L&L Construction, Inc. in the amount of $46,746. JRG Concrete and Construction had the highest overall bid score. The bid score is comprehensive of both the actual dollar amount bid as well as scoring their proposal, which include various different factors, including experience, expertise, safety, and a technical approach. So JRG's quote was under budget. All the bids were frankly under budget, but they included the shortest time frame of 10 days and had immediate availability upon award. JRG also identified the use of a concrete pump truck as a part of its approach, which that increases the efficiency and increases the reliability of getting that project done. Finally, both submitted testimonials from JRG as well as references that our staff both called out JRG for being very detail-oriented, reliable, and having a high quality of work. Stone Age Concrete and Construction, LLC actually had the lowest dollar bid. However, their proposal had a lower level of experience, past performance, and expertise. And LL Construction Incorporated had a more expensive bid and also had a lower technical approach. Overall, JRG aligns best with the direction we're heading, as well as their bid and their overall proposal was higher in quality and tended to show more reliability, as well as the references that we called reinforce that. This project is included in the golf division budget in the amount of $60,000. The general philosophy in cart paths is that the private cart fee that we collect each year was intended to offset the total cost of this project. We expect to generate around $60,000. We actually generated $62,000 in 2025. So those would have been a direct offset in cost. The fact that this project came in under budget is actually great. Ended up being about $18,200 under budget. So in the end, staff recommends that council accept the proposal from JRG Concrete and Construction LLC for $41,856 and authorizes the city manager to negotiate, sign, and execute a contract with JRG. And that's it for my presentation. I'm open to any questions you may have.
Great, and I don't have questions, just comments. I appreciate how you outlined some of the issues we had with this project, and I just want to reinforce that how long the project took last year. It was so long that they had to shut down their work because we had a major tournament coming up and pack everything away. And then about a month later, they came back to finish up the work, and the quality of work was extremely poor. I was really dissatisfied with that whole process, just from the very beginning and how they operated. So I'm very much in favor of going this route, and I would hope we see better quality work. So if there are no questions from any council members, I see none.
I just had one quick question. I know that there's still a lot of cart path work to be done at the golf course. Is there any opportunity to extend this to use the budgeted amount?
Yeah, we debated it quite a bit amongst the staff, and we felt like that this 300-foot length was about the right amount that we could get done before it started getting busy for the season. So it was certainly a contemplation and conversation, but we opted to get done. Really, our goal is to try and get 300 feet per year done, and this achieves it. And perhaps in future years, if we can find a longer stretch we can get done early in the season, it might be worth considering. But for this year, we just don't want to press our luck, frankly.
Thank you.
Seeing no more questions, I move that council accept the proposal from JRG Concrete and Construction LLC for $41,856 and authorize the city manager to negotiate, sign, and execute the contract.
Second.
Kiefhoffer,
Yes.
DeHaven,
Yes.
Dobry,
Yes.
Randall,
Yes.
Lewis,
Yes.
Sproul.
Yes. Move on to item number 7C, designate a sole source distributor and award the bid for the Conquistador Golf Course Reel Grinder. Council will consider designating Colorado Golf and Turf Incorporated as the sole source distributor and award the bid for a Folly 633 AccuPro AC reel grinder for the Conquistador Golf Course for $61,754. And our presenter again is Creighton Wright.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Mayor Pro Tem. So I'm going to go through a little bit of background and what this reel grinder does for us, just briefly touch on 3 different options and why, admittedly, understanding that identifying a sole source is a high bar to reach. However, I have some justification here in the staff memo that I feel like reaches that bar. So to start off, background, our golf course is mowed with reel mowers. We have 6 of them, if I'm not mistaken. These reel mowers cut the grass by spinning effectively a blade in between another blade. And in order to ensure that the golf has a clean cut on it, these reels need to be very sharp. A dull reel can rip, tear, and ultimately will open up the grass for disease. And it ends up being not a very good golf surface to play on a ripped piece of grass. So the reel grinder, what it does is it sharpens one part of the cut edge. There's actually 2 cut edges in the reel mower. This is the reel that spins around, and it sharpens that to ensure that it keeps it sharp and we get a good cut on the grass. Our current reel grinder was bought used when the golf course opened. We're a little unsure on exactly how old it is, but the speculation is it's more than 20 years old, and it's not serviced any longer by the manufacturer, and our mechanic has had to get in there and play with some of the electronics to ensure that it continues to run. In short, we sorely need a new reel grinder. There are three, so this is now getting into the different types. There are three different styles of reel grinder. Each has a single manufacturer. The first two are similar, but have some defining characteristics that are different. The Foley is the one that we're recommending here as a sole source. It has some capabilities that the other, I'd say, most closely aligned manufacturer does not. The third manufacturer is SIP, and they create a highly technical grinder with very fine adjustments. It's really more geared towards PGA championship level golf courses. It's not, frankly, something that our staff could put the time and effort into utilizing effectively because of its complication, how it functions. So why the Foley as a sole source? We got 5 main reasons I identify in the staff memo. The first is that there is only one distributor in the state of Colorado for a Foley. In most parks and golf equipment, all of it is sold in regions, and there's only allowed to be one seller within that region. In our region, that seller is Colorado Golf and Turf for the Foley reel grinder. It's very similar. Our mowers are set up the same way. There's only one manufacturer that can sell a Toro mower, and there's only one manufacturer that can sell a John Deere mower, as an example, within Colorado for golf. Second reason is that the Foley has certain capabilities that the competitor does not. In particular, it provides a relief grind that effectively kind of bevels off the edge of the reel so that there's less contact between the reel and the knife edge, the bed knife. This ultimately results in less friction between those two and extends the life of both the reel as well as the bed knife. So in short, it means that our reels and our bed knives are going to last longer because there's less contact between those two where they're cutting the grass. Third, the Foley grinder is more versatile. We have 3 different types of mowers and 6 different reels, and the Foley comes fully programmable. We basically put in the type of mower and the type of reel into effectively the computer, and it knows how to grind it with not a lot of effort on our staff's part. It pretty much is self-programmable. Fourth is really a logistical issue. The competitor's grinder is a rear load. It basically loads into the back of the machine. The way that our grinding room is set up, our current grinder sits on the back wall and you front load into it. In order for us to utilize the competition, it would have to sit in the middle of the room, and I don't actually think that we can realistically get the reels around to the back of it if we were to line it up that way. So it's really a logistical issue. The Foley is a front load, the competitor is a rear load. And lastly, our staff is familiar with the general functionality of the Foley. That's the current brand that we have. They've been trained on it. They've worked on the electronics, although it's going to be a lot different. The current version versus the new one, we shouldn't have to really mess with the electronics, but generally they understand how it functions and operates. So switching to a different manufacturer would require us to have to train 2 staff on its complete operation, functionality, and then long-term maintenance. So I hope that you feel like those 5 items identify the reason why we're going with the sole source in this case. And with that in mind, financially, this is being paid for out of the Conservation Trust Fund. We budgeted $60,000 for it. The actual bid price is $61,754. We would take the account for that minor overage within the CTF and just absorb it through a different project. So with that, staff is recommending that we designate Colorado Golf and Turf, Inc. as a sole source distributor and award the bid for the Foley 633 AccuPro AC reel grinder for the Conquistador Golf Course in the amount of $61,754. And that is all for my presentation. I'll take any questions you may have.
Thank you for your detailed explanation of why a sole source is necessary. I do think it is a high bar, and I think you meet this bar. I did have a question just about what's the life cycle of this?
So they generally say that they last about 10 years, should last about 10 years, but I think our experience with our current model is more than 20 years life. I would expect it to realistically, with good maintenance, last 15 to maybe 20 years.
Okay. Thank you.
I move to designate Colorado Golf and Turf Inc. as the sole source distributor and award the bid for a Foley 633 AccuPro AC reel grinder for the Conquistador Golf Course for $61,754.
Second.
Kiefhoffer,
Yes.
Dobry,
Yes.
Lewis,
Yes.
DeHaven,
Yes.
Sproul,
Yes.
Randall.
Thank you, Council.
Moving on to 7D, appointment of election judges. Council will consider appointing election judges for the April 7th, 2026 municipal election. Presenter is Danielle Wells, our city clerk.
Good evening, Council. Today I'm presenting the community members who have applied to serve as judges for our election in April. All 4 of these judges have previously worked in different Montezuma County elections over the past few years. And so they bring experience and knowledge that's needed to help ensure that our first independent election is run smoothly and accurately. Each judge will complete online and in-person training. Although only 3 judges are technically required by statute, we're requesting that we appoint 4. That way they can work always in teams of 2 to efficiently get the tasks done. Judges begin their duties on March 30th, and their responsibilities include verifying signatures, opening the ballot envelopes, and tabulating every ballot. So staff recommends appointing Susan Maxwell, Beth Wetherill, Cindy Clare, and Laura Bierbauer as judges for the election.
I have a question about the process.
Yes.
Can you tell us, will they be opening the ballots as soon as they are, like, on a regular basis?
Sure. By statute, you're allowed to start opening 15 days before the election, but we are having the judges start 8 days before the election. Just based on previous volume and just previous experience, 15 days is a little long. And so just to not have them tired and worn out and have to commit that much more time, 8 days felt like a good middle ground. So starting on March 30th, they'll begin that process every day from signature verification, and then everything that's accepted gets opened and then tabulated. So it'll be a flow process from the 30th all the way through April 7th.
Since we're talking about the election, can you just let the community know when they should be expecting to see ballots in their mailboxes as well?
Sure. Next Monday, March 16th, is when ballots will be starting to be mailed. So I'd expect voters to receive their ballots that Thursday or Friday. And talking about future dates as well, tomorrow, the League of Women Voters is hosting a candidate council forum here at 6 p.m. And then also on Tuesday, March 17th, there will be a candidate meet and greet with city staff. The public is also welcome to attend that, and that will be at 6 p.m., March 17th. The drop boxes, whenever voters receive their ballots, they can either put them in the drop box that will be in the parking lot behind City Hall, or they can drop their ballot inside City Hall during City Hall hours. They can also drop their mail ballot back in the mail to us, and it'll be mailed to us as well. I'd recommend doing that earlier. The closer we get to the election, please drop your ballot in the drop box rather than the mailbox. And again, April 7th is Election Day, so be sure to have your ballot back by 7 p.m.
I move that City Council appoint Susan Maxwell, Beth Witherall, Cindy Clare, and Laura Beerbauer to serve as judges of election for April 7th, 2026 municipal election.
Second.
Randall,
Yes.
DeHaven,
Yes.
Kiefhoffer,
Yes.
Dobry, Lewis,
Yes.
Spruill.
Yes. Moving on to item number 8, draft resolution ordinances. We have none. City Attorney's report.
No report, Mr. Chair. Mr. Chair, Mayor Pro Tem,
Thank you.
my county background confused me a little.
That works. City Manager's report.
Yes, Council, I do have a manager's report for you this evening. Actually, I have several items for you. First of all, the Enterprise Zone program was established to help economically distressed areas in Colorado by providing state income tax credits and incentives for businesses. These tax credits help retain businesses, create jobs, and encourage growth, just to name a few. The Southwest Enterprise Zone, the 2025 annual report just came out that was prepared by Region 9 Economic Development, and it shows that Montezuma County to have the highest business participation in the region. This is due in part, and this comes from Region 9, by the way, for the efforts of Economic Development Specialist Helen West. Helen's consistent work educating our community about easy tax credits have earned Montezuma County a total of $789,738 in easy state tax credits for our businesses, higher than the rest of the Southwest counties in Region 9 combined. And I think Helen is here. And honestly, Helen, she didn't just serve the city of Cortez. This is Montezuma County, so thank you. Next, I'd like to point out that Councilmember Randall has been appointed to one of 15 members of a Rural Health Transformation Program, which is an advisory committee on the behalf of the Colorado Department of Health Care Policy and Financing and the state of Colorado. So a very prestigious committee, and our very own April Randall has been appointed to that. The RHTP Advisory Committee will also provide recommendations for funding projects and advise on development, implementation, and governance of over $1 billion in federal grants from 2026 through 2031. Councilmember Randall has also shown a solid commitment to strengthen rural health care to better serve rural Coloradans and their providers. Much needed. Thank you, Councilor. Next, interviews for the Cortez Airport Director were conducted this past Friday. We brought in 2 very qualified candidates. An offer was ultimately made after a very difficult choice to Kyle Sloan, who currently resides in Dugway, Utah, where he currently serves as an air traffic control specialist. He has also served in the U.S. Marine Corps and is an OCS Quantico graduate. After his discharge from the Marine Corps, he was employed as a flight instructor and an airline pilot. His start date is anticipated as March 30th. Next, I was able to attend the county-wide regional cybersecurity tabletop exercise this past week. It was hosted by Montezuma County Emergency Management, and from my perspective was put together very well. It was clear that literally months of planning went into this. Anyway, this exercise was conducted with many of our partners throughout the region, and was conducted to plan for and prepare for a cybersecurity breach should that occur in our county and have widespread effect. Lastly, our first public outreach informational session for the Four Cortez charter ballot questions was held on Thursday, February 26th at the Chamber of Commerce. 2 subsequent sessions are planned. The next will be held on Thursday, March 19th, and also again on Thursday, March 26th, both from 5:30 to 6:30 p.m. at the Cortez Public Library. And then those ballots are slated to be mailed, as our city clerk mentioned, on March 16th, with Election Day on April 7th. So pending any questions from council, that concludes my report.
would you mind giving us, 2 weeks ago, we had the State of the Union addressed by the President. Would you mind giving us the state of Cortez and how we're doing right now?
I feel like he maybe had a little more time to prepare.
This would be impromptu, but
Well, okay. Yes, I love talking about Cortez and how things are going here. Council and community, to be quite honest, that we are operating very effectively. The city is out of debt, and we are living within our means. We've heard things from the public that we don't have a spending plan. We don't have, we're in financial straits. It's just not true. It's untethered from reality and honestly underinformed. We have a spending plan. It's called a budget. We work on it for months at a time every year. And in fact, I corresponded with our finance director just today about the 2027 budget. It literally is on the website and available and easy to see. The reality are, for a city our size, and really at all levels of government, there are always more needs than resources. Always. And it always results in tough choices that have to be made. But the reality is, in a community or a municipality like us, we have 4 core tasks or functions that we have to provide. And one is public safety, roads, water, sanitation. Those are the 4 must provide. They are the core functions that we absolutely have to provide, and hopefully effectively. And anything else besides that, any amenities and stuff, it's really just icing on the cake. We certainly want to provide those, and we do our best to do that, but they are not core functions. And honestly, Council, for a community our size, and you've heard me speak about this several times, but for a community our size, if we don't have cash for something, we can't afford it. And that's kind of like most of us have to live in our private lives, because if you don't, it's very, very easy to slip into financial dysfunction and get ourselves in trouble. But the reality is that, we do live within our means, and we strive very carefully to be good stewards. And by the way, that's one reason why I'm somewhat lamenting the dissolution of the current council is just timing out, because you guys have been such steady hands on the rudder behind the scenes. And raise your hand, Mayor Pro Tem, if I'm speaking too much, but you asked. But, when it comes to organizations, one major marker of organizational decline is quoted as undisciplined pursuit of more. And that can be more amenities, more anything. But if we get off of those core functions and just start, going down that path of undisciplined pursuit of more, we can get ourselves into trouble extremely quickly. And then all it does is it literally cripples us from not being able to provide those core functions. And it's a hard, delicate balance. We labor over this. We struggle with this. The council labors and struggles over this every year to find that delicate balance on what should be funded using the finite resources that we have. And the reality is also, there are no silver bullet solutions. People who have not been in your chair or in these chairs or have to actually labor with those numbers and what that takes, realize that there's just no easy answers. There just aren't. And no silver bullet solutions, but oftentimes from the outside, it's easy to point in and say, gosh, you just ought to do this, and that would solve it. There just aren't anything like that. In the last 5 years, Council, we've come a long ways. We've come from literally on the brink of financial ruin to now financial security, a solid structure. We've got good leadership. We've got a bright future. But I say that with the asterisk of, you know what? A bright future is not assured. We can make critical mistakes very, very easily if we're not careful, that can lead us down that path of decline and cripple us very quickly. That's why, in my opinion, again, we work so hard, and you all have worked so hard, and we do behind the scenes, to be that steady rudder on the hand on the rudder, to steer the city through difficult times, through difficult circumstances, and with limited resources to do the right things. And we don't always get it right, but we certainly strive to do that, and collectively, we land pretty darn close. So I hope that answers your question. I hope I did a good enough on the cuff, just, you know.
It's probably a good thing I didn't have an extemporaneous speech. That was a very good impromptu speech, so we got it. Thank you very much. Okay, we'll move on to number 11, City Council Committee Reports.
Mayor Pro Tem Spruill, I had a death in the family, so I wasn't able to attend, but I can certainly highlight some of the things that were on the agenda. We have our subcommittee reports. There was no forestry subcommittee report. There, however, was a rec center user group report. Again, a discussion, I'm sure, about the Parks and Rec master plan. An update on the recreation sales tax. As I mentioned last time, we have 2 new youth members, which we hadn't had for a very long time. An update on the park superintendent recruitment, and a discussion regarding the South Softball Complex and concerns around that.
Okay, we'll move on to any other board reports, which we have none. So we're going to go to item number 12, which is public participation. Again, individuals may not comment on items that are on this council agenda during the public participation time. There is no limit to the number of speakers and overall time limit. Speakers have a time limit of 3 minutes per person, may only speak once, and may not cede time to another commenter. Please reference any rules that we have below. But I was reading from my list. Do we have anybody that has any comments from the audience? Item number 13, other items of business. Anybody from the council have another item of business?
I just wanted to mention something really quick. To me, it's kind of sad news, and we have to remember that members of our community are really broad, and that includes folks that are unhoused. And this morning, I had a very unfortunate experience. We lost one of our beloved members of the community who's been around for quite a long time. And he passed away. I saw him this morning outside of the Good Samaritan food pantry, and he often naps kind of in our garden space back there during the day. And he was fine in the morning, and then our police department found him deceased around 2 p.m. in the garden, the pantry there. So I just want to put it out there that we also have to remember that unhoused members of our community are still members of our community, and we need to do everything we can to really address issues around homelessness and substance abuse and a variety of things to make sure that we're doing our best for all the citizens.
Thank you for that. I want to go back to item number 11A, which is Mayor's report on the workshop. We were in executive session, so we did our workshop at an executive session. No further comment? Oh, we have another comment.
I was just going to say, the executive session was completing the annual reviews of our city manager and our attorney.
I thank everybody for being patient with the Mayor Pro Tem, as this is about the second time he's done this. So with that, I'm going to make everybody happy, and meeting adjourned.
We need a motion. Mayor Pro Tem, I move that we adjourn this meeting.
Second.
DeHaven,
Yes.
Lewis,
Yes.
Randall, Kiefhoffer,
Aye.
Dobry,
Yes.
Spruill.
Yes. Now we're adjourned.